Alright, let's break down what happened with Yella Beezy. Things are getting complicated fast. A filing came through on the 22nd that changed the trajectory of this entire situation. The document centers around a 404(b)(2) motion connected to allegations being used as supporting evidence. Essentially, this legal maneuver is attempting to block the state from introducing or suggesting any previous conduct that doesn't meet the legal threshold under TRF 43 and 404(b)(2). Bezy's attorneys submitted this request to the court, demanding they prevent prosecutors from bringing prior actions into the proceedings. They're pushing for this protection to extend across jury selection, trial proceedings, and both opening and closing arguments unless the court specifically permits it otherwise. This is a calculated move to restrict what can be presented. The motion goes further, requesting the court establish clear guidelines regarding how evidence gets introduced and utilized. That part deserves closer examination, because things start getting really interesting there. The documentation reveals something significant. Bezy faced capital charges on March 18th. That's serious. However, the situation takes an unexpected turn. When the state submitted discovery materials, there were statements from law enforcement and certain witnesses suggesting Bezy might have connections to particular incidents. But here's the critical part. There's no actual evidence establishing any link to those situations, or whatever evidence exists cannot legally be admitted. This case continues to escalate in complexity. It's filled with secondhand information piled on top of more secondhand information. Bezy's legal team worries the prosecution intends to reference unsolved feud-related cases during the guilt phase of trial. These are situations never officially resolved, yet prosecutors might attempt to use them anyway. That's problematic. But what follows is even more troubling. The motion references something documented on September 25th, 2018, involving Roy Lee. According to the paperwork, an unknown individual contacted Roy Lee attempting to arrange some kind of event. Initially straightforward enough. Then, circumstances shifted dramatically when Roy Lee was apparently in a vehicle near 12,835 Preston Road in Dallas. That's when the situation escalated significantly. This part opens numerous questions. Who initiated the contact? What actually transpired that day? How does it connect to Bezy's present charges? During that incident, someone in a hoodie approached the car and damaged the driver's side door. Roy Lee sustained an injury to his leg and was transported to the hospital for medical attention. He couldn't identify his attacker. After his release on September 30th, 2018, medical professionals advised him to rest and avoid strenuous activity. Instead, he performed at a comedy venue in Paris, Texas. Shortly after, on October 13, 2018, tragedy occurred. Roy Lee died in his hotel room from a blood clot that traveled from his injured leg to his heart. That's devastating. Before his death, Roy Lee reportedly informed investigators about a year-long conflict with Bezy. According to him, the tension started following a club altercation in 2018, where one of Bezy's security personnel allegedly struck him during the commotion. Roy Lee claimed he was assaulted at that club by PMG, a group affiliated with Bezy. Since that event, friction existed between them. The situation escalated further. He'd apparently been attempting to organize a charity boxing competition with Bezy to resolve their differences. When the incident occurred, speculation emerged connecting it to their existing animosity. Law enforcement received information suggesting Kais Barrett, known as KD, and identified as Bezy's cousin, potentially participated, and that Bezy allegedly transferred $4,000 to him following his prison release. However, when authorities investigated thoroughly, discovered insufficient evidence linking the feud to the specific incident. Officials acknowledged rumors and speculation existed, but nothing substantiated in concrete terms. Roy Lee wasn't some street operator. He was a comedian known for entertainment. While he came from a challenging neighborhood in Dallas, that circumstance alone doesn't automatically place him in criminal activity. Had he been involved, he likely would have admitted it, though that would constitute what some call dry snitching, which most people avoid. Here's what raises questions for everyone. How did law enforcement even learn about the supposed $4,000 transferred to KD? Where did that information surface? Perhaps through social media posts or other means. Nobody knows definitively, but it's not uncommon for individuals to support family members transitioning out of incarceration. People don't leave prison with financial resources, so assisting a relative with modest funds isn't unusual. Let's move to the subsequent shocking incident. This one's equally disturbing. It involves Bezy and occurred on October 14, 2018. According to documentation, Bezy was operating a vehicle on the Sam Rabin Tollway when another car pulled alongside and discharged firearms. Multiple bullets struck his vehicle. He managed to exit traffic before paramedics took him to the hospital. That's frightening. Bezy stated to police he couldn't identify the shooter. Detective Howard from Dallas PD later contacted a detective in Louisville, mentioning that Bezy had recently finalized a significant recording contract and suggesting this shooting might connect to the existing tension with Roy Lee. Yet no official suspects came forward. When individuals broadcast information online, mentioning names, arguing publicly, documenting everything, it becomes straightforward for investigators to construct timelines and connections. According to Detective Howard, Roy Lee maintained habits of publicly calling out music industry figures, supposedly to gain attention and raise his own visibility. But honestly, that assertion feels like overreach. Not everyone pursues attention. Then, the situation intensifies. The vehicle's registration traced back to Shaw Griffin, reportedly connected to Melvin Noble, better known as Mo 3. That's a significant figure in Dallas. The document implies Mo 3 might have had some involvement, basically indicating his associates could have participated. Interestingly, approximately 2 years earlier, Bezy and Roy Lee experienced that club incident, after which things seemingly quieted down. Silence continued until Bezy secured his record deal, when hostilities reportedly resumed escalating. Roy Lee allegedly started publicly revisiting their earlier conflict, possibly attempting to capitalize on renewed attention. Bezy informed detectives he held no desire to press charges if someone faced arrest. He preferred keeping the matter private and managing resolution independently. That's maintaining street credibility. Consider how serious this could have become. Had Mo 3's associates been definitively tied to the shooting, circumstances might have developed dramatically differently. The vehicle belonged to someone connected to Mo 3, yet no evidence proved he was operating it. Consequently, authorities lacked sufficient evidence establishing culpability. Presumably, when police questioned him, he exercised his right to silence. Remaining quiet became his choice because once individuals begin speaking, circumstances become distorted rapidly. Staying silent leaves investigators struggling to assemble evidence themselves. And that's simply how situations develop. Your responsibility isn't constructing their prosecution. Now circumstances become increasingly complex. Let's examine February 6, 2018, an incident involving Darius Moore, recognized as Trap Boy Freddy. Reports indicate he and 3 companions were exiting a party vehicle at a residence on 4906 Rain Avenue in Dallas when a vehicle suddenly appeared and unleashed gunfire, wounding multiple individuals. That's shocking. The men couldn't identify their assailant and declined pursuing charges. However, here's the complication. Rumors circulated that Bezy possessed some indirect connection, with speculation suggesting Trap Boy Freddy orchestrated the entire situation. Yet, investigators never uncovered any concrete evidence connecting Bezy to that situation. Nothing substantiated. How did that information even surface? If everything derives from street gossip and hearsay, that constitutes weak evidence for building a prosecution. You cannot construct a credible case on rumors and conjecture. Someone must have initiated that rumor circulation, though. That's precisely why Trap Boy Freddy subsequently faced questioning. Officials wanted exploring potential connections between him and that incident. The prosecution aims presenting all this information to jurors, stacking incident after incident like mounting accusation. Their narrative frames Bezy as connected to Roy Lee's situation, with his cousin potentially participating and him subsequently facing attacks from Mo 3 associates. They want jurors questioning why he didn't cooperate with police if innocent. But sometimes silence doesn't signify guilt. It simply means avoiding deeper entanglement in unnecessary circumstances. They're attempting introducing yet another case, creating 3 separate situations, but the complications don't conclude there. Let's examine what transpired in 2019 involving James "Bubba" Browning. According to reports, Browning occupied an exterior area at the Dixon grocery convenience store, located at 3752 Dixon Avenue in Dallas, when disaster happened. He wasn't conducting transactions inside. He was simply standing outside, existing peacefully. Surveillance captured two masked individuals exiting a van and discharging rifles at Browning before departing. Investigators subsequently discovered Browning had formerly been arrested alongside Joseph Arnold and Deshaun Smith, both regarded as persons of interest in a separate investigation involving Marlo Marshall. All three allegedly worked with Marshall previously. The situation became increasingly tangled. A witness told officers they recognized one surveillance footage figure as resembling Arnold and Smith and mentioned street talk suggesting Marshall had received threats before his passing. Following that, Arnold faced arrest regarding Marshall's case. Here's where Bezy's name resurfaces. Another witness reportedly shared information with detectives about street discussions, indicating Trap Boy Freddy and Bezy maintained problems with Mo 3. People began suggesting an organized plan existed against him. Yet here's the contradiction. No evidence substantiates Bezy's involvement in Mo 3's death. The state appears contradicting its own argument. Consider it. They're suggesting Trap Boy Freddy faced targeting by Bezy's group. Then supposedly Freddy and his associates targeted Mo 3, with both Freddy and Bezy allegedly placing bounties on him. But if accurate, why was Trap Boy Freddy summoned as a witness instead of a defendant? That lacks coherence. The narrative keeps shifting contradictorily. Let's transition to another investigation. This one occurred September 29th, 2020. It concerned a man named DeJuan Spikes, who suffered injuries at a residence located at 6910 Rohill Road in Dallas. The location appeared operating as a distribution hub. Authorities discovered currency, controlled substances, and even a short rifle at the location. The individual responsible turned out to be Randall Eugene Hunter. Surveillance captured his Dodge Charger departing the vicinity immediately following the incident. Investigators examined his mobile communications and discovered information and proof connecting him directly to the situation. He eventually acknowledged guilt and received a 20-year sentence. That's an extended period. Rumors subsequently emerged claiming Bezy and Spikes maintained some previous disagreement. But once again, no evidence suggested Bezy participated in what occurred or maintained involvement with Spikes' operations. Simply another claim lacking substantiation. Just when intensity seemed maximized, another situation requires examination. The July 6, 2020 incident involved Robert Gaia. Based on reports, Gaia experienced critical injuries while driving on Central Expressway. Robert Gaia survived the assault, though he sustained significant neurological injuries. According to his companion's statement to Dallas detectives, Gaia had been conducting a relationship with another individual without her awareness. She acknowledged placing a monitoring device on his vehicle, though it stopped functioning before the incident. She additionally mentioned Gaia's close associate had died in Oak Cliff merely 2 weeks prior, and she'd encountered a rap group possibly referenced as Mo, or using the hashtag, who released music referencing that death. That's extraordinary. The companion told detectives Gaia maintained no gang membership and harbored no intentions regarding retaliation for his associate's death. He concentrated on music creation and personal matters. Another person named Rochelle Myers, who accompanied Gaia during the incident, told detectives the situation possibly connected to some disagreement existing within the rap community. Myers even displayed police with a YouTube video featuring Melvin Noble, recognized as Mo 3, performing material supposedly referencing Drow and Duck. That recording, according to her, appeared connected to continuing disputes between various Dallas musicians. Then, based on the report, Myers continued stating that Darius Moore, known as Trap Boy Freddy, maintained friendship with Bezy and Gaia, had produced music alongside both individuals. Subsequently, Mo 3 apparently released material referencing that situation. The one where Bezy experienced injury. It appeared everyone throughout the local music community was incorporating each other's conflicts into their recordings. However, detectives rejected Myers' interpretation. Detective Howard from DPD even communicated to Richardson PD officers that he disbelieved MO3 bore personal responsibility for the incident, despite MO3 apparently making references through his lyric. Ultimately, both related incidents remained without confirmed perpetrators. Additionally, another situation followed shortly thereafter, the September 7, 2020 incident concerning Trap Boy Freddy himself. Reports indicate he was at a filling station inflating his tires when a vehicle passed and discharged gunfire, striking him in the leg. Trap Boy Freddy couldn't identify his shooter and provided no vehicle description. He additionally resisted providing significant information to authority. Following hospitalization, that reaction doesn't surprise anyone. Several days after, on September 10, 2020, a Richardson PD detective became aware of the incident in Los Angeles and reached out to Detective Howard from DPD. The detective reported that Trap Boy Freddy and his associates maintained so many adversaries and conflicts with various individuals that establishing who was targeting whom became nearly impossible. That constitutes a striking acknowledgement. It demonstrates how complicated and unpredictable the environment had deteriorated. Here's the point where the prosecution's narrative becomes increasingly sensationalized. They're positioning Yella Beezy as some orchestrating figure, claiming he coordinated situations, arranged attacks against others, and himself experienced targeting from Mo3's associates. Fundamentally, prosecutors construct a portrayal depicting unending conflict and retaliation spanning Dallas musicians. According to their framework, if Bezy and Roy Lee harbored earlier animosity, it logically follows that Bezy might have subsequently pursued Mo3. But again, nothing substantiates this. Everything rests on documentary suggestions, not factual verification. The paperwork creates appearance of pattern, but nothing concretely establishes connection. Additionally, the prosecution's methodology seems genuinely questionable. It resembles a game determining disclosure timing and information revelation. You comprehend Bezy's team seeking delays, envision proceeding to trial, and discovering particulars that warranted knowledge months earlier. That establishes groundwork for mistakes and confusion. Ultimately, nobody wants presenting arguments to judges regarding information never previously clarified. Every component proves essential, and overlooking solitary details potentially revolutionizes jury perception completely. I comprehend frustration with commentary stating, "This trial continues indefinitely." Honestly, that criticism possesses validity. Multiple people feel this situation warranted resolution previously. However, simultaneously, the district attorney's department appears deliberately stalling, remaining passive rather than advancing momentum. Since no enforceable speedy trial requirement constrains them, they maintain unlimited timeline flexibility. That's precisely their approach. They're experiencing minimal pressure, pursuing aggressive sentencing if their prosecution foundation isn't absolutely reliable from currently accessible materials. The available proof doesn't provide prosecutors apparent advantage. Realistically, it makes DPD appear unmotivated. They possessed opportunities establishing arrests before escalation occurred this extensively, yet they apparently didn't prioritize speed. It's not resource shortage. Gang divisions, specialized teams, detectives, constables, state personnel, and municipal departments all theoretically maintain oversight responsibility. Yet, identical discord perpetually resurfaces. What's remarkable is how this street conflict discourse extends beyond merely performers and their organizations. It encompasses countless average citizens attempting displaying strength or sustaining relevance within that framework. It's a repeating mechanism continuously reinforcing itself while resources and public finances experience depletion. You've got multiple agencies concentrating effort on identical matters rather than meaningfully resolving fundamental problems. Should authorities truly desire accountability, they'd operate strategically, not simply detaining individuals contingent upon social connections or geographic origin. The community isn't requesting preferential treatment. They're seeking impartiality. The public genuinely should harbor frustration currently because circumstances develop spiraling uncontrollably. Mo3, Trap Boy Freddy, and Yella Beezy all warranted comprehensive questioning, long preceding current severity. Sufficient warning indicators demanded earlier engagement. Certain individuals will argue it wouldn't have mattered, they wouldn't have cooperated anyway. Perhaps truthfully. Nevertheless, what that accomplishes involves pressuring everybody involved. It communicates that authorities observe circumstances. Understand, we recognize what's happening. Assume you're unobserved. Any misstep and you're reassuming scrutiny. That's how you convey municipal engagement. What creates confusion involves how frameworks perpetually enable progression this extensively before reacting, particularly when capital and authority consistently factor significantly. It experiences like specific situations attain recognition when politically or financially beneficial. This particular aspect generates substantial frustration because law enforcement departments merchandise narratives identically to everybody else. They absolutely recognize annual budgetary allocations. They're cognizant regarding which administrators require satisfaction maintaining overtime authorization or supplementary funding. Meanwhile, finances potentially redirected preventing violence or investigating historical situations get consumed addressing non-essential overtime and administrative work. Instead of intervening early, establishing firm boundaries, they await circumstances spiraling unmanageable, subsequently appearing astonished at developments.